In an era where political rifts seem to touch every corner of American life, it's easy to believe that every institution is just as divided as the headlines suggest. But this year, the Supreme Court has flipped the script, delivering a string of decisions that showcase an unexpected spirit of agreement. Despite their wide-ranging judicial philosophies, the 9 justices recently handed down 6 major rulings, 5 of which were unanimous, and the 6th with just 1 dissent. In a time when close votes are the norm, this level of unity is nothing short of extraordinary, proving the court can put aside differences to focus on the law. This consensus crossed the usual ideological boundaries, with both conservative and liberal justices joining forces. It's a striking example of how, at its best, the court can rise above politics to serve the greater good. The message is clear. Their decisions are rooted in legal reasoning, not political pressure. This reinforces the judiciary's independence and its commitment to upholding the Constitution and the rule of law. The unanimous rulings tackled a broad spectrum of issues, from gun manufacturer liability and religious rights to employment discrimination, offering clarity on legal questions that impact millions. For everyday Americans, these united decisions are a source of reassurance. They show that, even in turbulent times, the Supreme Court can provide stability and clear direction, helping everyone understand where the law stands. By speaking as one, the court not only boosts public trust, but also reinforces the idea that justice is anchored in solid legal principles, not shifting political tides. Even in these polarized times, the justices have shown a shared dedication to clear, principled interpretation of the law, reminding us that unity is still possible at the highest levels. The result? A more stable, predictable, and accessible legal system for everyone, one that keeps the promise of equal justice alive and strengthens the very foundation of our democracy. In a stunning and unanimous move, the Supreme Court has once again thrown its full support behind the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, or PLCAA. Passed in 2005, this federal law was crafted to protect gun manufacturers and dealers from lawsuits when their legally sold products are later used in crimes. The latest case to test this law saw the Mexican government take on Smith & Wesson, a giant in the American firearms industry. Mexico claimed the company should be held accountable for gun violence spilling over its border. But the Supreme Court firmly disagreed, making it clear that the PLCAA's protections can't be sidestepped by foreign lawsuits or clever legal maneuvers. Justice Kagan, speaking for the court, left no doubt. The immunity granted to gunmakers under the PLCAA is both strong and sweeping. The court's opinion stressed that Congress meant for this shield to be a tough barrier, not something easily broken by creative litigation. With this decision, the justices have slammed the door on new, untested legal strategies that could have shaken the entire firearms industry. By blocking these lawsuits, the court has reinforced the stability and predictability that gunmakers need to operate within the law. The ruling also highlights a key legal principle. Those who commit crimes are responsible for their actions, not the companies that legally sell products that might be misused. This distinction is vital for fairness in the justice system and ensures that lawful businesses aren't unfairly blamed for the acts of others. Thanks to this ruling, nearly 20 years of legal protection for gunmakers remain intact. The court also clarified the rare situations where exceptions to the PLCAA might apply, giving much-needed guidance to judges, lawmakers, and industry insiders. The Justices' United Front sends a clear signal. The firearms industry can count on legal certainty, and Congress's original goal, to prevent a flood of lawsuits over crimes committed by others, stands strong. This stability is crucial for the ongoing legal trade of firearms in America. In the end, the Supreme Court's message couldn't be clearer. As long as gun makers and dealers follow the law, their right to do business is firmly protected by federal law, securing the industry's future and upholding the rule of law. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court made a bold statement in Catholic Charities Bureau versus Wisconsin, standing firmly for religious freedom. The justices ruled that Wisconsin's move to exclude Catholic charities from a religious exemption was unconstitutional. Their decision makes it clear, All faith-based organizations deserve equal treatment under the law. This landmark ruling means religious groups can't be unfairly targeted or denied exemptions that others receive. The court's message is unmistakable. The First Amendment's promise of religious liberty is a core right, not an afterthought. With every justice in agreement, the court sent a powerful signal. Government must stay neutral and honor the independence of religious groups. This principle helps build a vibrant, diverse society where faith-based organizations can serve their communities without fear of discrimination. In the landmark case Ames v. Ohio, the Supreme Court made it clear, reverse discrimination cases don't need any extra hurdles compared to other discrimination lawsuits. With a unanimous decision, the justices confirmed that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act offers equal protection to every employee, no matter their background. The court tossed out the idea of tougher standards for reverse discrimination. Now, all that's needed is credible evidence of unfair treatment based on race. This move sets a fair and consistent rule for courts across the country. The ruling strengthens equal rights and stops courts from creating separate levels of protection. By coming together, the justices have brought much-needed clarity and consistency to employment discrimination law. It's a big win for legal equality and a reminder of what civil rights laws were meant to achieve. In a striking and unanimous decision, the Supreme Court took the rare step of ordering the government to help bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. after he was deported, even though his legal battle was still ongoing. This move sends a powerful message. The court is deeply committed to protecting individual rights, even in the complicated world of immigration law. The justices made it clear, when someone's rights are on the line, the government can't just act on its own or ignore the legal process. While the Supreme Court agreed with the lower court that the government needed to take action, they also sounded a note of caution. The justices warned that courts shouldn't overstep by micromanaging the executive branch, especially in sensitive areas like immigration enforcement and international relations. The message? There's a delicate balance between the courts keeping watch and the executive branch making decisions. This decision walks a fine line, affirming the judiciary's vital job of protecting constitutional rights, while also respecting the executive's authority over foreign affairs and immigration. It's a reminder of the ongoing push and pull between these two branches, each with its own powers and boundaries. The court made it clear, the administration must make a real, good faith effort to fix its mistake and set things right. But the justices stopped short of telling the government exactly how to handle foreign governments or diplomatic talks. This approach honors the separation of powers while still demanding accountability from the executive branch. This case shines a spotlight on the importance of following proper legal procedures, even when the stakes are high and emotions run strong in immigration cases. It's a clear reminder, due process matters, no matter who's involved or what the situation is. The ruling reinforces a core principle. No branch of government is above the law, and all are subject to judicial review. The rule of law applies to everyone, even those in positions of great authority. In the end, the judiciary stands as a vital protector of due process and individual rights, making sure the government stays within constitutional limits and that justice is delivered for all, regardless of status or background. Imagine being sent away from your home by mistake. That's exactly what happened to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident who was wrongly deported to El Salvador while his legal battle was still ongoing. The government owned up to its blunder, but still tried to link Garcia to gang activity, allegations he firmly rejects. Garcia's ordeal quickly became a rallying cry for immigrant rights advocates, all demanding fair treatment and due process. Judge Paula Sheenis took the matter seriously, ordering daily updates from officials to ensure accountability. The Supreme Court stepped in, issuing an order to bring Garcia back, a powerful acknowledgement of the government's mistake. For Garcia and his family, his return was a hard-won victory and a moment of relief. His story is a vivid reminder. Legal errors can deeply affect real lives, but the courts have the power to set things right. The Supreme Court just dropped a unanimous decision in Dewberry Engineers versus Dewberry Group, shaking up trademark law. The justices made it clear, Companies can't be hit with damages based on the profits of their affiliates, unless those affiliates are actually named in the lawsuit. This decision doubles down on the idea that each company stands on its own. No more automatic liability just because you're part of the same corporate family. The court tossed out a huge damages award, clarifying that the Lanham Act only lets you recover from the actual defendant. So, if you want damages from affiliates, you have to name every relevant party in your lawsuit. This ruling protects due process and stops entire corporate groups from being automatically on the hook. For businesses, it means clearer rules and more certainty when it comes to trademark battles. The Dewberry ruling is already shaking up trademark lawsuits, drawing a bold line. Only the profits of specifically named defendants are on the table. But the Supreme Court left a big question mark. How should lower courts handle damages when profits are tough to pin down? That's a debate for another day. Justice Sotomayor chimed in, pointing out that courts still have tools to make sure defendants don't get away with hiding their earnings. For plaintiffs, the message is clear. Be meticulous. Every entity you want damages from must be named up front. Expect more complicated early battles in court, as everyone works to identify exactly who's involved. The Supreme Court has answered a crucial question, but the playbook for trademark cases will never be the same.